Welcome to Spicy Toast Gaming and our Yasuo guide for Path of Champions. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Starting off with an overview of the champion, just so you can know how they generally play and whether or not this is someone you want to invest your shards as well as time into. First, we have stuns focused. So the entire kit of Yasuo is built around getting those stuns off. And so if you like playing with stuns, if you like controlling the board that way, he's definitely someone to look into. If you don't really like that playstyle, then you might want to look somewhere else, since that's the entire point of his kit. Next is defensive. Now, as part of all of those stuns, you're normally holding off the enemy attack, and you're not letting them attack you with all of those stuns, so his whole kit is more defensive focused. Consistent board wipes. So normally once per game, you'll be able to have Yasuo just completely destroy the enemy board by stunning them all and Yasuo just killing all of them. So it's a very fun thematic thing that you'll be able to trigger in game, and you can normally do it at least once per game. So if you enjoy just completely wiping out the enemy board and you like being able to consistently do that, then this might be someone for you. Next, we have that built-in draw. So he has several cards that are able to draw him more cards. So normally you're not going to be able to run out of cards with Yasuo. Normally you're going to have a full hand, which just gives you those options to play whatever you need to in that moment. So consistent removal. Yasuo, when he's on board, he's damaging the enemy every time you stun them. So he's able to just remove the enemy, and then you also have some recalls or other abilities that can also remove enemy threats as well. So you're very focused on clearing the enemy board. Lastly, he is very champ reliant. Probably one of the champions that's the most champ reliant in the entire game. If you do not draw Yasuo, you will likely lose, especially when you're playing at the higher difficulties. So there's ways you can mitigate that and try to always draw your champion, but if you just have a very unlucky game and you never draw him, you're most likely going to lose that game. So if that would really frustrate you, then that's something you just have to be in mind when you're playing Yasuo. He can be a lot of fun, very powerful, but if you don't draw him, you will probably lose. Alright, that's it for the overview. Let's go hop in game and take a look at Yasuo, his deck, his star powers, and what relics you might want to run on him. In game now with Yasuo. So we have him at 21. He's 3 stars. He's 4 mana, 4/4, so actually just like Jin, who we just did a guide on, and he starts out with quick attack, and then when you stun or recall an enemy, I deal 2 damage to it. Then he levels up by you've stunned or recalled 5+ units. Once he levels up, he gets 5/5, and now when you stun or recall an enemy, I strike it. So that's then scaling with the amount of damage he has, and it's also triggering any strike effects that you have. So it's generally an improvement. The one issue is that if your Yasuo gets frostbitten or something like that, he's then going to do no damage. But in general, it's an improvement. You're normally doing much more than the 2 damage of your non-leveled up Yasuo. So for his champ card, it is Steel Tempest. So he stuns an attacking enemy. This really helps your defensive playstyle of this can only be used on the defensive, but you're able to just stun and get rid of enemy units that are trying to attack you. Alright, taking a look at his star powers. So the first one, round start, stun the strongest enemy. For the rank 1 version, it's only when I believe you have the attack token that you stun the strongest enemy. The level 3 version is every round you stun the strongest enemy. For the 2-star, +1 starting mana, when an ally strikes, granted +1 attack. So essentially the same thing Garen has for his 1 and 3-star powers, except it's only helping your attack, and it's only going up by 1. So pretty good. It helps your units be more powerful whenever they are attacking, But the big thing is for Yasuo, since he's getting those strikes off when you stun, his attack is scaling up throughout the entire game, and he can do pretty crazy damage later on. Looking at his starting deck, we have the Blade Scout, so when I'm summoned, give me elusive this round, and he has draw on it, so again, more draw in your kit. Your 2-star Blast Cone Seedling, play give me barrier this round, or impact, getting that studded leather. These cards are both fine, but neither one of them is really amazing or really too helpful for your overall game plan. So if you were going to cut a card, I'd probably cut one of these, especially if you are having enough draw with other things in your kit. These ones are just, they're decent, but there's much better options. Like for 2 mana, your Fey Blade Twirler. So, Overwhelm, Quick Attack, when you stun or recall a unit, grant me +2 attack. So this unit is able to scale up to pretty insane amounts throughout the game. And so this is a much better 2-drop than either of the other ones. So this one you always want to keep in your deck. The other 2 you can easily cut. Concussing Palm, it gets cheaper with that Tear of the Goddess, but 2 cost stun an enemy to summon a Tail of the Dragon. This one you can use at any time. Your other stun is only when someone's attacking, so if someone's attacking, you always want to try to use Steel Tempest first, and save your Concussive Palm for when you're wanting to stun someone at other times in the game. But a stun, great, you need more stuns, and then it also summons a unit. Steel Tempest, this also gets Elixir of Skill, so again, you're getting more draw added to your kit. And this is also the Yasuo card, so if you are getting a lot of Yasuos in your deck, which you normally are, you're going to have a bunch of these Steel Tempests. So when they're attacking, you can normally stun the entire enemy board because you'll just be having a bunch of these you can play, and they're all giving you more cards, so you don't feel too bad about playing them. Shadow Assassin, 3 mana, elusive. When I'm summoned, draw 1. So again, more draw just built into your kit naturally. So yeah, with Yasuo, you're really never running out of cards because half of your cards draw more cards. Alright, 4 cost, Will of Ionia. Little expensive, does get that Ardent Sensor on it, so it helps your deck. This is nice because you can use it on the enemy or your own unit. So if you need to save one of your units, it's a bit expensive, but you can use it to recall your own ally if someone's trying to kill it. Or if the enemy plays a big scary unit, you can just recall it to get rid of that unit from the board. We have Yasuo at 4, which we talked about. And then we have Yone, the Wind Chaser, play stun 2 enemies. Very good. Pretty much means that if you have Yasuo on the board, when you play this, you're just killing 2 enemies. So, very strong deck. Most of it is all feeding back to your main win condition of stunning and recalling. Again, these 2 are the ones that I would cut, these ones at the top. If you're wanting to cut cards and these aren't getting good items, they don't really fit with the rest of your build. They're not bad cards, but they don't really just synergize. So normally I would cut these if you're cutting one of the cards from your deck. Taking a look at relics, so we have Tempest Blade. This one's essentially made for Yasuo. So when he levels up, stun all enemies. When that happens, since he's stunning everyone, he is then striking every one of those units. So normally this is how you're going to get that consistent board wipe happening every single game. So if Yasuo's on board, this will trigger. If he's not on board, then when you play him, he will level up, stun the whole enemy board, and kill all of them. So, really good card, specially made essentially for Yasuo, and works very well. Banshee's Veil, much like Jhin, Yasuo is someone you're going to have on board as much of the game as possible. And since he's always going to be on board, that means the enemy always has an opportunity to attack him, or you remove him. And since he's your main win condition and powerhouse, you want him to be able to stay on board and not get removed. So when I level up Rally, that can work very well with Tempest Blade, because they both feed into the same effect. You do have to be a little bit more careful, though, that you're leveling up. You're getting that Rally off when you want, and you don't already use it when you have the attack token, so it's not getting wasted or something like that. So you have to put a bit more thought and planning into your level up. But Crown Guard can work well, especially with Tempest Blade, since the whole board will at least be stunned, but probably killed. Gale Force, you don't really want that on Yasuo. He doesn't get any special benefit from attacking, really. And then you want him on board. You don't want to have to replay him every round. And you want him on board for the round start to get that stun off. Or for when the stun happens for him to kill a unit. So Gale Force doesn't really work. You could do Archangels if you really wanted to always be having that mana to play your different spells. I probably would not. So he does have enough attack that if you wanted to get Stalker's Blade or Gatebreaker, it would actually do okay on him. And then when he's getting those strikes off, he's also going to be increasing his damage, so one thing you consider. I would definitely consider the Grand General's counter plan. So round start, create a fleeting copy from your hand, and then that copy, since you have Yasuo on board, would transform into his spell. His spell is that stun an attacking enemy. So that's a really good spell to have, and then it's going to have that extra draw on it. So this is something to consider. The one downside is this is only going to be useful when they're attacking. So it's very strong, but only very strong for half of the game. So something to consider there. Giving your allies Overwhelm wouldn't be too bad. Most of your units are going to have very large attack, but not necessarily Overwhelm. Only one of your units has Overwhelm. So you can get chump blocked pretty easily. For commons, Spell Shield, very good. Lost Chapter, if you're struggling with mana. Challenger, always good when you have a quick attack unit, so you're always going to be killing the right one. Overwhelm, pretty good. So the Chameleon's Necklace, also very nice. You need to have more Yasuos in your deck, and then this way, if you draw more Yasuos when you already have them, they're just going to turn into that spell that we already mentioned earlier, the stun attacking enemy, but these aren't going to be fleeting, unlike the General's counterplan. So something to help your card draw, just to make sure you're always getting those Yasuos out on board when you need them. Alright, that was taking a look at the relics of what ones you might want to use with Yasuo. We'll hop back over and take a look at the in-game powers you want to get for him, as well as what support champions you might want to shoot for. Starting off with the in-game powers, we have Enfeebling Strike. When you damage an enemy, reduce its power by the damage dealt. This is very nice since Yasuo is constantly going to be damaging enemies every time you stun them and every round start. So just constantly reducing the enemy attack is very good, helps you with your defensive playstyle, and just lets you win or hold off in those longer matches. Hold it, round start, stun the strongest enemy. So again, just a free stun, helps you level up Yasuo faster, and then Yasuo is able to clear more of the board. Now, normally this is going to stun the same enemy that your star power already stunned, so it's not necessarily too helpful. It can work though when you have Yasuo on the board, that one stun will go off, Yasuo will hit and kill that unit, and then the second stun will hit a different unit since the other one's dead, and Yasuo will kill that one as well. So, can be very, very good. Sometimes though, they both will go off and hit the same unit, but again, you're getting more stuns going off, so buffing your Blade Twirler, increasing Yasuo's level up condition, still very good to get for Yasuo. Next here we have Dragon's Rage and Crush. So the Dragon's Rage, giving your units Fury. While this is fine for most of your units, it's especially good for Yasuo, because when he's killing those units just by stunning them, that does count as him killing them, so he's going to get the benefit of that fury, and so this just makes your Yasuo level up to crazy levels if you're able to get this, or if you're just able to get the item on Yasuo himself that makes him a dragon. Yasuo scales crazy with fury, so something to keep an eye out in game. Crush, very nice to have, especially for Yasuo himself. Your Blade Twirler does have Overwhelm, but that's the only unit, so being able to help all your other units to punch through and destroy the enemy nexus with their larger attack is very helpful. Alright, next we're going to take a look at the support champions, as well as a landmark that you might want to look out for in-game. Alright, so Yasuo's landmark. So this is one that just showed up in the most recent patch or expansion, I believe, but it's the Windswept Hillock. So when you're summoned, it draws a Yasuo and stuns the strongest enemy, and then when you gain the attack token, it stuns the strongest enemy. You don't really have to look at the items there. This is one that I was using that I was able to get a bunch of good items on, but just the landmark itself is very good. So it draws you a Yasuo, so if you are having problems drawing him, this helps you out. And then also it's immediately stunning the strongest enemy. Great, we love that. And then every time you get the attack token, it's stunning the enemy again. So if you have a Yasuo on board, you can play this, you'll get another one in hand, but then it's just helping constantly stun the enemy. Very good, helps you win, helps you with your draw. Definitely consider getting it if you see it in game. It's been working very well for me for the games I've played with it. Support champions for Yasuo. So just like the Jhin guide, I'll first just put out some points that you want to look for when you're seeing your support champions, and then I'll give some specific champions that actually work pretty well with Yasuo. So first, stuns. Obviously, Yasuo's whole kit revolves around stuns, so any support champion that has stuns either on them or their support units, definitely something to look for and pick up. Next is the items. So often when I'm choosing a support champion, I'm not wasting my rerolls there. I'm saving that for powers or champion items. So just choosing whatever has the best items that will work for you, even if the cards themselves normally wouldn't synergize. Sometimes their items are good enough to justify picking them up. Alright, next, Swain. So Swain works very well with stuns, able to kill units that are stunned, and can definitely help you out. They synergize very well together, especially with their out-of-combat damage. So definitely one to look out for if you see him in game. Next we have LeBlanc. LeBlanc has scales very well with people doing a large amount of damage, such as Yasuo, but also one of her cards is Thorn of the Rose, which is a 5/1 unit that costs 3 mana, I believe, and it makes a 1-cost stun in hand. So being able to just stun whatever unit you want, whenever you want, very nice. So another card that I've played with that has worked out very well for me. Now, there's definitely a lot of other support champions that'll work well. These are just ones that I've played with and had a lot of fun with. But definitely look for those stuns, look for good items whenever you're picking your support champions. Thank you so much for watching that video. We're putting out daily content for Path of Champions, so if that interests you, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment down below. We're just starting out here on YouTube, trying to grow the channel, so any help is greatly appreciated. Thank you, and have a great day.